Hello and welcome to Ask Dr. Trent. If you've been watching the episodes, you'll know that I haven't really done an episode since July. I've been working on school, working, and just getting my life together. You know, life is kind of crazy like that. So I'm back, and for the winter break, I'm going to try to do a couple of episodes and try to get some things done. It's December. Christmas is right around the corner, so Merry Christmas to everybody, and remember that Christmas is about Jesus, not about getting presents and spending money so that you're broke in 2011. Yeah, so tonight's topic, since I'm going to start doing single topics until I get some questions back, is communication. Now, communication is a difficult thing for most people these days because it sounds so simple, but a lot of people, including myself, sometimes struggle with it. To me, it's one of the cornerstones of a good relationship that if you don't have good communication in your relationship is probably pretty shitty. Not to say, oh, if you don't have, well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Let me not BS over that. Basically, to me, it's communication, honesty, trust, and love. Now, some people will say honesty and trust are two things that are the same thing, but they're not to me. I'll go into that another time, but I feel like no matter what kind of relationship it is, whether it be a relationship like love relationship or friendship or dealing with your family or whatever, communication is important. You have to know how to communicate with people. And one thing I have to say is, like, no one is psychic. Like, it has always bothered me when people expect me to just know what's going on in their head. Like, yes, if you've known somebody X amount of time, you should kind of know how they're going to react to certain things, but as a person, you should never assume that anyone knows how what they did made you feel, because if you assume, you're probably going to dig yourself a big hole, and you won't get out of it, and it'll just be a big, huge problem. So no one is psychic. Speak your mind. If you have a problem with something someone did or how they made you feel by doing a certain action, tell them. Tell that person. Don't tell everybody else. Don't tell Facebook. Don't tell Twitter. Tell the person first. Now, that sounds very simple. That sounds very easy, but you have to understand, people hate communicating, whether most people want to admit it or not. People hate communicating. And I mean, to really sit down and talk to somebody about how you feel about certain things, it sucks ass. Like, me personally, over the last couple of months, I can tell you there have been instances where I've been dealing with people who I should have communicated better, and I was not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because as anybody who knows me knows, I'm a motor mouth. So sometimes I'm so worried about saying the next thing that I'm not listening to what the person has to say sometimes. So I'm working on that. I'm human too. I may give out advice, but I'm working on myself as well. So I feel like it's hard for people to communicate because it puts you in a vulnerable spot. Like, to really tell somebody how you're feeling and really let them know, and to let yourself out there like that, sometimes people are really crappy. Like, you'll tell them how you're feeling, and you'll say, oh, I don't like the way you did this, or I don't appreciate you, da-da-da-da. And sometimes people will make you feel like absolute shit for saying what's on your mind. So then if somebody makes you feel like shit about telling you saying how you really feel about something, then you're less likely in the future to tell the next person or anyone how you feel about something, because you think they're just going to brush it off or make you feel stupid forever saying it. So I feel like I said, a lot of people don't know how to communicate well. Like, I'm still working on it, and I feel like almost everyone is a work in progress when it comes to communication. So I have a couple of tips here and there. I feel like, okay, number one, if in most cases, like I said, you should speak your mind, but I would say there are two instances where you don't necessarily speak your mind right then and there. When you're super, super, super pissed about something, do not immediately tell the person how you feel, because if you do, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna say something to them that you can never take back, and people don't forget when you say horrible things to them. Like, if you tell them, you motherfucker, you this, you ain't shit, da 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 da, people remember shit. people never forget when you treat them like absolute shit or make them feel like absolute shit. So try to walk away from the situation when you feel like you're going to explode. Just wait before you communicate. And the other one I would say is in public. Like if you and the person you're dating, y'all have an argument about something, try to wait until y'all are not in public, because if there's one thing that isn't already bad about an argument is if somebody's belittling you or putting you down in public in front of people, because that's when people start showing out. And basically, if you don't watch yourself, you pretty much air out your whole relationship and all kinds of things that don't need to be aired out in front of a bunch of people that's supposed to be between you and your mate. So if you're in public, try to wait until it's just you and that person to be like, okay, I have a problem with you doing this, and so on and so forth. Another tip is to try to listen, like really listen. Like almost everybody watching this, including myself, would be like, oh, I listen great. I listen just fine. But really and truthfully, you don't. Like most of the time, I know even I'm guilty of this, is that sometimes I'm listening to somebody and instead of really listening to what they have to say, I'm sitting there formulating the next thing that I want to say. So sometimes you have to cut that off and really try to listen to what the person has to say. Like I said, don't assume anything, because assuming is almost always bad. Sometimes it's on point, but really you shouldn't depend on it at all, because you're going to be wrong more often than not. And I say really try to empathize with the person. Like if somebody's telling you something, or if your mate is trying to tell you something, try to hear what they have to say. Try to see it from their point of view. Don't immediately shoot it down like, oh, I feel like this. Oh, that's stupid. What are you talking about? You must be out of your mind. Try to sit down and really think, okay, let me think about it from their perspective. Like, how would I feel if somebody did this to me? Or if you really know your mate by that time, really think about how they probably viewed it, and it'll help you to understand where they're coming from, and then it'll be easier to work things out. And I mean, really, that's all there is to communication. I think that you definitely don't want to, like, since we have cell phones now and almost everybody uses their cell phone, I feel like people lean on their cell phones too much. Like, I hate, and I absolutely, positively, if you want to know one of my biggest pet peeves, are text message arguments. Like, if you have something to say to me, don't text me this long 7-8 page text message of how you feel about stuff, because that's going to aggravate the shit out of me. I'm not going to want to hear what you have to say, because I'm like, why are you texting me? You need to talk to me, okay? So I say probably my last tip for this is, for the love of God, if you have to argue with somebody, do not go through the whole text messaging argument or saying, oh, I understood, I got some attitude from the way you texted that, because text messages, emails, electronic communication has no emotion. Like, yeah, if you put some exclamation points or you capitalize something, you're implying something, but it seems like people get in trouble with text messages or emails because people will imply what they want to imply, and then there's all kinds of trouble. So if you need to talk to somebody about something, it's best that you talk to them face to face, or if not face to face, at least do telephone. And that's really all I have to say for communication. If anybody watching this has any better tips, please write them in the comments. Speak on it, really, or do a video response and attach it to mine. And that's everything. So before I go, I want to say that thank you for watching this episode of Ask Dr. Trent. Like I said, I'll be doing some more episodes over the break before school starts back up and things get crazy again. I want to shout out to all the U of H graduates, you know, IJ, Yava, Bridget, Eric, Arena, everybody who graduated from college, nursing school, whatever you graduated from. Congratulations, and I'm proud of you. If I know you, I'm proud of you, okay? It's a big step, and I'm glad to see you keep on going, and by God's grace next year, that'll be me too. So congratulations once again, and thank you for watching Ask Dr. Trent. Have a happy holiday.